Welcome everyone to Playwrights Guild of Canada's 2020 Tom Hendry Awards. I'm so pleased to be a part of this year's awards, which is much different than we've ever done it before. But that's because of the situation we currently find ourselves in. But we're a resilient organization and look at it as though now we have more of an opportunity to engage all of our members across the country. So we hope that you're joining us from coast to coast to coast. My name's Robin Sokoloski, and I'm the Executive Director of the Playwrights Guild of Canada. I'm currently in PGC's office, which is in Toronto, which resides on the traditional lands of the Huron-Wendat, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Métis, the Anishinaabeg, including the Mississaugas of Credit Nation. PGC recognizes and respects all recorded and unrecorded nations who care for this land of Toronto, meaning where the trees are standing in water. PGC is grateful for the opportunity to protect and care for the stories of this community, which is home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island. Thank you everyone for joining us for our very special annual event and throughout the week.
Hi, I'm John Lazarus. I'm a fellow member of the Playwrights Guild, and the chances are that I've been writing plays longer than you have been alive. And they've asked me to talk about how I got started. So 1972, I was a member of a small theater company in Vancouver called Troupe. I was an actor. I was very interested in becoming this new phenomenon, comparatively new, of Canadian playwrights. And we had cobbled together in this company Troupe an evening of short one-act plays, and the evening had come up short. We needed one more, and I was sitting staring at the floor, and I was thinking, if I really want to be a playwright, I should be able to write a play on the next thing I see, which was stupid, but it led somewhere interesting. And I looked up, and the next thing I saw was the lighting man's stepladder on the stage, because we were in tech for something else. And I thought, okay, I'm going to write a play on a stepladder. I'm going to write a play on the stepladder. So I thought it would be ironic and fun if the stepladder represented the largest structure in the world, and mythologically I thought that would be the Tower of Babel in the book of Genesis. So I went home and I wrote a little 20-minute two-hander, one guy who's hammering away at the tower, another guy who's sitting back and smoking a joint and questioning the whole enterprise. Brought it in the next day, we read it, everybody said, yeah, great, let's do it. And I thought, that'd be great, I could do one of these every night and become rich and famous. It didn't actually happen that way, but the play got produced, and that was how I got started as a playwright. Thank you for watching.
Hi, my name is Tom Slater, and I'm coming to you from Guelph, Ontario. Many years ago, I was introduced to the plays of Dennis Foon, and in particular, his play Mirror Game. I was amazed at how in such a short play, Dennis could bring forth such an honest story with memorable characters while offering hope to its audiences. So like Dennis, that's what I wanted to do with my shows. So when I started writing, I wanted to make sure that I was telling honest stories with honest characters who were in situations that were relatable to its audiences. I wanted to make sure that people watching it, if they were struggling with the same subjects that were part of my plays, would see that there were other people struggling and that there was help available. I write because I want to make a difference.
Hello, I'm Marcia Johnson. I will answer the 3 questions. Number 1, why did I become a playwright? Because as a young actor, a young Black actor, I wasn't being offered really meaningful roles in adult plays. I got to be a kid for a long time doing children's theater, but I knew that I could be the lead of something, so I wrote to create that opportunity for myself. Why do I write? I write to tell those stories that we haven't heard. I want to talk about people whose stories have been marginalized and that we don't see as much on the stage. And I want to teach people about them without it seeming that I'm teaching. And is there a particular piece that inspired me? All of them. Whenever I go see a play and I sit down in that seat, I am hoping as the lights go down that something amazing is going to happen. It's magic. Even if I don't like the play, I will be inspired to write something better. And if I love the play, I want to write something as good. I miss the theater. We'll get back.
My name is Kevin Land, and this is the story of how I became involved in writing for the theatre. I was attending the University of Victoria to do my master's, and there was a contest on campus held by the theatre department to enter a one-act play. The winner would be produced by the theatre department. So I wrote a one-act play and entered it. It was called Ties. A few weeks later, there was a note in my box from the chair of the department asking me to see him, and I did, with the assumption that my play had won. But in fact, it had not won. There was a reading committee of 3, and his choice was for my play, but another play was chosen. But he did encourage me to find a way to produce the play, and I did. I approached a small dinner theatre company in Victoria, run by a woman named Edna Brown, and to my surprise, in my visit, she booked a date. So I had about 6 weeks to put on a play, knowing nothing about theatre. At any rate, I got the theatre bug from that experience and enjoyed producing the play and met a very close friend who remains a close friend to this day. And I continued writing and producing plays for years afterwards. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Josh MacDonald, and you asked us to talk about what inspired us to become playwrights or to become writers. And I certainly grew up a big reader and read a lot of fairy tales and then fantasy fiction when I was young. And those were pieces that, for all of the conflict that may have been in them, were ultimately sort of meant to assure, pieces where the protagonists literally in the text got to live happily ever after. And then I remember when I was about 12 years old, sort of ordering a book out of my Scholastic book order by a author for young adults and an American journalist named Robert Cormier. And that book was called I Am the Cheese. And that book fairly messed me up. It was a book that did not assure. It was a book that did not affirm, but instead provoked, a book that challenged, a book that was decidedly unsentimental and unsparing, and a fairly harrowing book about sort of the young teenage experience. And it, like I say, it messed me up. This is my copy of that book. It's literally the one I've had since I was 12. It's all dog-eared now and taped together, and very recently it's become full of notes because it's the piece that I got to adapt and got to be nominated this year with. And I do think that if I could tell my 12-year-old self that one day I would be nominated for spending some time with this book again as an adult man myself, I would find that symmetry assuring in a way that the book is not assuring. And it would tell my 12-year-old self that I was maybe on the right writer's path. And for that, I will always be thankful to this author, to this book.
Why did I become a writer? Number one, I think because I had stories to tell. That's the obvious answer. But I think secondly, it was because it was a challenge. What had happened was I was working as a dramaturg for a lot of different writers, and my best friend, while we were working on one of his scripts, had said to me, what have you written? And I didn't have an answer. I hadn't written anything by then. I was terrible at writing. I'm a terrible speller, and I struggle with that. And so I'm afraid to give up my work. So that challenge sort of forced me to become a writer, and I did. I started writing, and I still struggle with writing, and I struggle with giving away my work. But I keep doing it, and I'm getting better at giving it away, releasing it. But I thank him for challenging me, and all the people who support me. Alan and Stephen at Young People's Theatre, all the people at Native Earth over the years who have been huge supporters of what I do. Manitoba Theatre for Young People, Leslie Silverman, who, asked me to keep writing, forced me to keep writing, and everybody who understands that. So That's why I became a writer.
The Sharon Enkin Theater for Young Audiences Award is generously sponsored by the Enkin family. The award is given annually to a member of PGC who has a new or recently premiered Theater for Young Audiences play.
PGC would like to thank Pablo Feliz Luna, Maggie Mercadi, and David Woods for being a part of the Sharon Enkin TYA jury.
This year's nominees created beautiful, intriguing, and theatrically engaging pieces for young people. We can't wait to see them.
And the shortlist nominees are Herbie Barnes for Bent Boy, Josh MacDonald for hashtag I Am the Cheese, and Jared Mallard for A Year in the Stars and Rain.
And the 2020 Sharon Enkin Theater for Young Audience Award goes to Josh MacDonald for hashtag I Am the Cheese. Congratulations.
I'm thrilled. Thank you very much. I would like to sincerely thank the family of Sharon Enkin, who have created this award in perpetuity for playwrights who do work for young adults and take that craft terribly seriously. I did not think this through because I did a little video for the PGC in advance of these awards in which I said perhaps all the things that I will say now in an acceptance speech. I wasn't thinking a couple of steps ahead, but I grew up loving the book I Am the Cheese. I held this up in my other video, but like literally this is the copy I've had since I was 12 years old. And it's a book that really shook me when I was young. It's a book that certainly kind of was written in a post-Watergate America. I think the book is 1976, 1977. And in that post-Watergate setting is about a fractured identity. And I thought it would be compelling to try to update the book to, instead of being about a broken identity, to make it about identity theft, and to set it not in a Watergate era, but to set it now, and to make it more about the dangers of big data. That was the ambition, but always also the ambition was to just kind of remind myself of the power that narrative had for me in 1977 from the great author Robert Cormier. I'm thrilled. This play has not yet been produced, so in a way I don't have too many specific people to thank, but I'd like to thank my agent, Mike Petrasic, at Kensington Literary, for figuring out some arrangements with the publisher in order to give me some small rights to pursue my adaptation and to see where the day might take me. I'd like to thank my mom, who literally gave me the money to buy the book in a Scholastic book order when I was approximately 12 years old. My mom is a passionate reader, and I think gave that gift to her sons and daughters, and I'll always be thankful. I sincerely would like to congratulate all the other nominees in all the other categories here. Clearly this has been a rough year for everybody on planet Earth, but it is in its own special way a challenging year for people who work in the performing arts. And if our nominations from the PGC this year helped any of us to kind of persevere just for one more day or one more week or one more month, I think that's something to hold on to and something to value. I know that it's done that for me at a time that I really did feel like I was flagging. So this award means more to me than I could ever sum up here. But let me end it at that and say thank you again, sincerely. Thank you.